And covering for our Canova Leor and Edna Bapsley listeners, Horsham District Football League, I spoke earlier to Peter Weir about the situation of no football being played again for a second week in a row. Peter Weir is our correspondent with us live from the farm at Rainbow. Hey Peter, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad, Wayne, but as you said, it's been a couple of quiet weeks now over here in the Victorian Mallee and the Horsham District League.
Yeah, it is. There's a few conundrums that have been sorted out in the week. Round 7 that you didn't play last weekend has been moved to the June long weekend, and so that is at least some particular movement forward. But with the loss now of this round 8, you were scheduled to have a home game against Nadimak. That would become the question as to where that gets moved, either to July the 10th, which was another Horsham District bye, or does that game get moved to the following weekend if games of football are back being played, which we hope that they are. There is a lot of conundrums here, Peter, that are going to be very, very difficult for the executive to work through.
Yeah, it will be. I know they've got another meeting next Thursday, and there's going to have to be a lot of patience throughout the league and clubs and players and supporters while they try and work through it. To just lose that one game made it quite simple. To lose 2 or 3 games might make it all the more trickier, and they'll have opportunities to maybe look at just playing every team once as we go forward, or if we are going to get on top of COVID and in the next couple of weeks, maybe we could extend the season for a couple of weeks, but that also has implications as well. So there'll be a couple of big decisions coming up for the league and the board, but I think everyone, they're going to have the community's best interest in mind, and everyone's just got to support that and be understanding of the decisions that are made going forward. And hopefully the main thing is we're back out there playing footy for you, man.
I think too, I know that the juniors can play, but there is no junior competition in Horsham District or Wimmera this weekend. Just on that, Peter, did your club consider doing something for the juniors, even at sort of a social level, rather than necessarily the situation at the moment where no one would be playing across any grades?
Not at this stage. We'll probably just have this one more week, and then we'll probably look at other opportunities to get our juniors involved, because as of now, juniors are allowed to go back and play their community sports. So, for instance, if the senior grades were going to miss a few more matches, maybe we could look at sort of having a junior hub in Horsham again, where for the month of July, when it's not month of June, when it's nice and cold, us old senior boys can rest and maybe make the juniors the showpiece of the league there for a month. But all these things will be looked at. But I think it's definitely important for the junior grades to try and not miss too many weeks, and probably not so much important for the senior grades.
Interesting thing on the schedule of the draw, that round 7 is now moved, as we said, to the June long weekend. In that context, you'd played 6 games of football. There is a 12-team competition. That means 11 games have to be played against other sides. So if you take into that account, you mentioned a bit earlier, maybe just playing everybody once, that becomes a real opportunity. I suppose that the problem for the draw right now is that if one goes forward to, say, 3 weeks or 2 weeks' time, you start playing sides that you have already played once. So the league has to change the draw if it's going to look at going to a different setup, particularly with less games of football for the year.
Yeah, with the initial draw, it was a little bit all over the shop, and they were trying to do the right thing by keeping people in their areas. But for instance, in 2 weeks' time, we'll play the Harrow Club again, which we've only played 3 games ago. So I think now's a really good opportunity, and they do have the chance to, before it gets too more complicated with little things like that, to maybe just look at playing everyone once.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, you have a home game scheduled now for the June long weekend. And now, if we get through this week and the senior sport is allowed to play in regional areas, the hope is that that is the case. You would face the Swifts at Japarit, and that would be the make-up game of round 7. Other matches would be Edna Apsley, who would face the Kalkee side, which would be a tough ask down at Apsley for them. Harrow Balmoral at home with Taylor's Lake, and then it would be Canova Leor playing Pimpanayo at home at Canova, Nadimak at home at the showgrounds against Laharam, Narrajah or Quantong in one of the games of the season, and that would be scheduled against Rapanya, and that one at Bomberland. So that's looking forward to next weekend. We do hope that for everyone in our Canova Leor region listening to the Flow broadcast on 100.3 and also joining us at Edna Bapsley across the border from Narracourt and Kaibi Bowline, that you get back on the field next week on the June long weekend, and we look forward to bringing you coverage of Horsham District then.